Hello everyone and welcome back to Susa Plays and to Blood Bowl 2. Now, what's this, you might ask? Well, it's a game I played recently and I'm not going to focus on the game because I am today wanting to talk a little bit about what's going to happen in February and a bit into the future. As you might know if you're a Blood Bowl 2 player, or as you might have heard me mentioning in an earlier video, the Blood Bowl 2 World Cup 2016 has been announced. And the qualifiers will open and start soon. First off, there will be... I have to click forward anyway. There will be an open league where anyone can play, and you create a new team, join in, and you try to win as many games as you can, and the 5 top players in each season will qualify for the main event. The main event being a 64-player playoff for the title of World Champion. So I was thinking, I'm not very good at Blood Bowl probably. I'm not good enough to be among the top 64 in the world, but why not have a little bit of fun and try to play in the qualifiers? At least we will have some good games, I imagine. So, in that light, I have decided that I want to play in this open league. It will open later in February, and I will probably try out multiple races and lots of new teams. So there will be a little bit of more varied content as well. I figured that might be fun, and we might see what sort of competition the very best Blood Bowl players of the world are. And that's also why I was practicing a little bit with a new Lizard team. This is a newly started Lizard team that I played. I figured I would play a bit of low-level opponents to get a feel for the low-level game a little bit. And it didn't work out so well. I only faced off against teams with team value 500 or 1000 higher, like this human team who had 500 higher. Anyway, that'll be some of the spots. There will be 3 seasons, and every time 5 teams, the top 5 teams will qualify. You can only play 20 games, and the more wins you have, the higher you will rank. And if you have the same number of wins, the next tiebreaker is the amount of touchdowns you score. And it will also factor in if your opponents conceded. You will get less points if your opponents concede, because there will probably be a lot of conceding going on, as you have seen me have in the open league before. You almost routinely run into opponents who concede, sometimes even before the game starts. And there is a rule to limit this, and that rule is if you have a total of 5, you are allowed a total of 5 concedes across all your teams in the open leagues. If you concede more than 5 times across all the season and across all your teams that participate, you will be disqualified. All your teams will be disqualified. So hopefully that will limit the number of concedes. I was thinking that this would probably just turn into everyone conceding as soon as they've lost their first game and then starting a new team, because you will probably need 20 wins in order to qualify. There we see my skink slipping there. However, and there's another skink fail. Let's. I said I wasn't going to focus on the game, but it's difficult when they're flipping and throwing themselves to the ground. That'll be only 15 teams. Those of you who are quick with your wits will have noticed already. 3 seasons, 5 teams from each season. What about all the other spots then? You said we were going to be 64 teams. Well, those are going to be dealt out or achieved by community leagues Now, Blood Bowl has a varied community. There are lots of fans around the world, especially those who have already played the Blood Bowl 1, which I haven't. And they have online leagues where you can participate and you schedule games, and they have different structures, of course, for different organizations. And for the most prominent ones, were handed a few qualifying spots each. And all those leagues, you can participate in their individual qualifiers, and they have different rules. They have different yeah, touchdown. They had yeah, you can participate in as many as you want, but they all have different rules for what the structure of the tournament might be and how those spots are handed out. Some of them allow new players to join in even if you haven't been a member of their community, and some do not. And also there are different languages, different time zones, and everything. Those sign-ups are probably closed already by the time this video goes up. But I figured, I might get in on some of that too and try it out. Alright, that's my bad, I was scrolling to the side there. So I was checking out these community leagues, and first of all, my first thought was, hey, I just join everything. That means I have a better chance of getting a qualifying spot for the final tournament. But I quickly realized that would have been a nightmare with trying to figure out what teams to play and where and who and everything. So my next thought was, well, I'll just sign up for everything and then I'll play, and those teams that aren't doing very well, I'll just forfeit and focus on the ones that are doing well. But that wouldn't be very nice, because that'll mean a lot of pain for those trying to organize it. And they're all volunteers and community, and I didn't want to do that either. So instead I checked some out, and I picked the ones that I thought was well, most suitable for me and looked like they were well run. And in the end I only ended up joining one community league. So I will be playing in the GOBBLN qualifying tournament. It's a league format where your team are going to play in a division of 6 teams. Every team plays each other twice, and then the top 2 teams advance to a playoff, with some added to make it even, so that there's an equal amount of games depending on the number of sign-ups. But I probably won't get that far. These are pretty enthusiastic and well-experienced Blood Bowl players I would be going up against, I assume. But in any event, I signed up for that, and I have been admitted. I am in a division, and my first game is about to be scheduled. So what I will do is I will go over my team from that game, from that league, and introduce it. It is a Lizardman team. As you can see, they are very adept players at slipping at any rate. So I wanted to go over that team, and let's just quickly move through this game a little bit for those of you interested. There goes my first skink. It actually turned out pretty well. I was very lucky in this game. Let's just see. You already saw my first touchdown, and I had some amusement money, so I had spent that on Halfling Master Chef and the Wizard, and it turned out, well, this drive didn't turn out very well. Let's just check. He ends up in this position. I try to get to him and try to knock down while he's playing, I suppose. So this is my turn. I went ahead and tried to blitz here and knocked him down. I guess this is just a move at the turn. No, there we go. He scored from here. He handed it over to this guy, short pass, and then he blitzed his way through. So that's a touchdown. And then it was my ball, landed close to my skinks. I knocked out some of his players, and then he tried to surround my cage. I ended up breaking through on the side, running through, but I left a little bit of a hole in between here, which was a mistake. Oh wait, I'm not done yet. And my mistake is coming here. I was supposed to put one skink here and the other skink to block his path between the players. But once I got around to moving this skink, I forgot about that and instead placed him over here, as you will see. Over here, that meant he got to the ball, knocked it loose, and from this position, I believe, yeah, he put a lot of guys over here, so I made an effort to move as many guys in there as possible, and apparently I scored. No. What happened then? Alright, I was trying... Oh, this is the end of the first half, right. So I tried to pick this ball up and run to the end zone, but it failed and I dropped it, and then it was his turn. And then the second half started. He had the ball, knocked some of my guys down at the line there, as you can see. And then he tried to go through this side again. With 6 Sauruses and no Kroxigor, you don't really have enough players to field the entire line, so you have to leave an opening on the side. So I was trying to leave an opening on the left side and then put most of my skinks back here to sort of trap anyone trying to get through. And this time my skink didn't get knocked down, which was a little bit of an improvement. So he kept the ball in the backfield, and I managed to get my Sauruses back up into play. Ended up in this position. One of them got all the way up to the ball carrier without falling down this time. So he spent a little bit of time trying to get that loose, which he did. But I managed to knock out his guy down here with my skinks. And that's, of course, made him not be able to go forward. This ogre was knocking down my Visage a bit. He shifted to the other side, and I believe this was a pretty crucial turn. I've already moved some of my Visage. I decided to go up here so I could knock this guy down. And that was a death, actually. And he tried to reroll that with the Apothecary and failed. So that was the start of the turning point in this game, I believe. And now my next plan was to blitz with this player here, because I could just make it with 2 going for it. And they both succeeded, and I knocked his thrower down. Like so. And also the ball lands close to me here. So at this point, I have these guys tied up here. One's dead, 2 knocked out. He's gonna run a few players back there. And then he did a little... No, this is me. I guess he got a turnover over here, I believe. Tried to dodge or something. I knocked down this ogre. Well, I don't want to spend too much time on this game. That wasn't the intention of this video. But, I suppose. Yeah, I knocked down... I think I got the ball there with my skink, and he tried to dodge away to grab it. No, I don't have the ball, but he tried to grab it. He failed to dodge. I had surrounded his players. I spent a bit of time trying to knock everyone out. And once that's done, I picked up the ball and ran it in with the skink. So the next lineup, he didn't have that many players. I actually managed to get a few more injuries. Even the ogre was injured. And yeah, I pretty much easy from here. Again, I left the left side open. He put down a cage over there. I've moved all my players in. And at this point, he's out of rerolls as well, because my halfling took all of them in the second half. He tries to blitz himself free. He knocks another skink down, and then I believe he tried to hand the ball over to this guy and then run in a touchdown. But that happened. And we tried to run that guy into the end zone and then give him the ball for a touchdown. Of course, failed, and that meant, as you might imagine, another turnover here. Well, not a turnover, but we lost possession. The ball ended up over here. So I moved a lot of skinks around, picked it up with one of the skinks. At this point he couldn't really stop me. I ran up across, took my guys in between, and it ended with another touchdown for me. Slipping skink twice. Knocked himself, injured himself. That was amusing, but it was on the second to last turn. So he would try to do this, and of course he had bad rolls, so what happened was that. And then I scored. So that's the game. Sorry about that, that was probably pretty what do you call it? Fragmented, that's the word. Oh no, I didn't score because I tried to give the ball to the Saurus. And there you go. So the game ended 2-1. I could have gotten 3-1, but if that had been a tournament game, of course I would have scored. So anyway, I wanted to show you my team that I'm going to be using in the GOBBLN playoffs. I will have links to them in the description. I think that's only fair. I don't know if I would encourage you to go there and join them because I haven't really played there yet. So that's the league I'm playing in, that's all I can say. I can't say if they're good guys or not yet, but they seem like good guys from the message board and what I could read there. Yeah, it's not this team, of course, because you have to play with new team. This is my team, with the Take-a-Licking Trouncers. Oh, I can't even say it myself. Take-a-Licking. As you can see, it's pronounced Take-a-Licking. So this is the team. With a new Lizard team, you have to decide: do you get the Kroxigor from the start and go with fewer rerolls, or do you go without the Kroxigor, get 3 rerolls, but try to buy the Kroxigor as soon as possible? Because you really want a Kroxigor instead of a skink. I decided to go with no Kroxigor and instead have 40,000 spare money, and hopefully in 2 games I will get enough to buy the Kroxigor. And then I can start perhaps getting Apothecary, which I don't have from the start. But I have 3 rerolls, which you probably need because, well, none of the Sauruses start with block. They start with nothing, but they have 4 strength. The skinks start with dodge, but their agility is 3, so even with dodge, it's actually what is it? It's a 2 in 3 to dodge, and then a free reroll, so you get an 8 in 9 chance to dodge with a skink, barring skills on the opponent. And the same thing if you try to attack with a Saurus. There's a 1 in 3 chance that you get a skull or a both down, which would end in a turnover, and with a 2-die block, again, it's the same. It's an 8 in 9 chance that you don't get a turnover. So there'll be a lot of 8 in 9 chances if you dodge with the skinks or do 2-die blocks with the Sauruses. And every 9 of those will need a reroll unless you get a turnover. So that's why you need many rerolls, because you want to do 2-die blocks with the Sauruses, of course. And dodging with the skinks you'll have to do it sometimes. Anyway, here's my team. We have a Viletine, Hot Rocks, he's from my other Lizard team, so there's a bit of a mismatch in naming scheme here. Discomfort, not a great name, but Common Komodo I like, because he's from my other team as well. Scale Fist, and then Phibius. Previously he was called I Am Phibius, but that was a bit It didn't really sound like a name, so we only call him Phibius now. He himself calls himself Phibius and exclaims, "I am Phibius," of course. And then we have the Skink team, Legit Leguan, Annoying Agama, Sparesaurus, Flealicker, and of course our stand-in until we can afford a Croxy is Can't Afford a Croxy. So there's the team. For those of you interested, I have 3 rerolls, nothing else. And of course no stadium upgrade. That would be a pretty silly start if you start by upgrading your stadium, I think. You only get 1 million gold and you want to spend it on the players, of course. So there we go. I'm going to play a Lizardmen team. I feel the Lizardmen are those I have best results with in the early game. So I want to be as competitive as I can. I want to give myself an advantage by playing a strong race. There are some that have signed up with humans and Bretonnian teams. Not as many. The most popular ones are Lizardmen, Orcs, and I believe Dark Elves are very popular. I haven't played Dark Elves myself, but yes. Also, let's have a look at my division. I don't know the players I'm going to be playing against, but we can have a look at the teams. Here's the division. It's the Sterland division in the GOB BLN World Cup qualifier. And you have to be admitted, of course. You can't join anymore because the sign-up period has ended. So I didn't want to tip you guys off, so I get a little bit of less competition, right? But you can still compete in the free league. I believe those start this week, perhaps the end of this week, middle of February sometime. And they will be running for a month each, and then there's a new season after that, and so on. And you can sign up at any time in those. Let's have a look at the teams in my division. There are 7 teams. Right. I thought there was only 6. But there are 7 teams, definitely. So, that's my team. No, wait. This was the filler team that he put in to start the division. And because there was one person who was late in accepting their ticket. I was also late in accepting my ticket, but I guess the division started once I accepted mine. I should have changed the colors of the shield. I always forget to do that. So we have a Wood Elf team, Cypress Hill. The coach is Lembocha. I don't know them. I don't know what they're playing, but I know that Wood Elves are pretty strong in the early game. Of course, linemen all around, a thrower and 1 ward dancer. Yes, you can't afford much else. They went with 3 rerolls, which seems to be the standard. And my next opponent is the Bonejaw clan. I haven't actually seen this team. Let's see what he went with. He has a troll, interesting. And a thrower. At least seems like 4 black orcs as usual. There should be 4 blitzers behind there. Could he really afford 4 blitzers? No, he only has 3 blitzers and then 2 linemen. So, yes, well, I should be very familiar with orcs and their playing style. The 3 blitzers have block, that's his advantage against me. I have more 4-strength players. His troll, of course, is a little bit stronger. But perhaps the boneheading will make up for that. He doesn't have a goblin to throw. He has a thrower. He's a bit better at handling the ball than my skinks. So that's another advantage for him. And then 2 linemen. They're just going to be weaker. I suppose he has 3 strengths across the board, while I will be playing with 5 2-strength players. So that might be a bad thing for me. They also have high armor on everyone. Except the thrower. He actually has a little bit less armor. I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. But that's good to know, and he has 2 rerolls, so we will have a little bit of an advantage in the reroll department. Right? And then... oh, I didn't need to go back there. We have the North City Westmen, the Bretonnian team. The coach is called Fake Life. And, well, the Bretonnians might be dangerous, actually, for us, because they have... their blitzers start with Dauntless, so they actually have block and the Dauntless so they can hit our 4 strength guys. So that might be a problem for us, these blitzers. The blockers we should be able to handle. They have wrestle, but we don't have block anyway, so wrestle isn't really making a difference against us. And then some linemen with fend, we should be able to deal with those. They have a bit less armor than the orcs, so hopefully we can knock some out. No one will have extra players at the very start. Maybe once the season comes around, and they only have 2 rerolls as well, so we have a little bit of an advantage there. Hooah, indeed. And then we have the Dark Elf team, the Nagarothian Witches, played by someone called Kikurasis. Oh, I get it. They have 4 blitzers with block. The rest of them are all linemen, so they haven't got any witch elves or runners, I believe they have, or assassins. I suppose they will be getting those later, but you can't afford that much. Dark Elf players are pretty expensive, if I know. I haven't played them, but I think I remember they're pretty expensive at the start. 2 rerolls and a pretty basic team, so they're probably gonna have the toughest time in the first few rounds. I would hope to play them early then, because then we can take advantage of our 4 strength line before they get skills on their linemen. 8 armor, also a little bit less than our Sauruses, a little bit more than our Skinks. And they will gut us apparently. And then we have a dwarf team. That's probably going to be the toughest game for us, because they start off with a lot of skills, namely Dauntless on their Troll Slayers to hit our 4 strength guys. They have ball handling on their runners, and they also have block on all their Longbeards and Blitzers, which, yeah, that would be a problem for us. Also, they're pretty hard to knock out. 9 armor almost across the board. Also, everyone has thick skulls, meaning they're more difficult to knock out. So that'll be a tough game for us. Hopefully we can at least play them hopefully before too many of them get guard. We're gonna have to pick block for our first skill for our linemen, our Sauruses, if we can get a level up on any of them. And these guys will of course be picking guard as their first skill. So they will still have an advantage over us with guard. But at least we will be able to stand up to them if we can get block on a few guys. And 2 rerolls. Also an Apothecary. That was an interesting choice for a dwarf. Maybe he couldn't afford anything else. It seems like he could have afforded another reroll. I think as a dwarf player I would have picked a reroller instead of a Apothecary, but these are experienced players. At least most of them are, I would assume. There were probably some that are just joining it for the first time to play this playoff. Scotch, yeah, okay. We aren't the nice ones. So that's everyone. I will be playing my first game. I will be trying to record them. Might not be able to record all of them, because of course they need to be scheduled and they can only play at a specific time, and I might not have a good recording opportunity at the time. But in that case I will try to show a replay and tell you what happened, so you can follow my failures or successes in this division, the Starland division. And the top 2 teams, I believe, are qualified for the playoffs. Can we actually check out the competition here? If I click this, no. Alright, if I click this, yes, here we can see the other leagues. There are apparently 4 leagues. I thought there were more actually. Oh, maybe they haven't gotten started yet. People need to sign up. All the teams need to get there. It has officially started this weekend. I'm recording this on the Sunday evening. So yeah, I think there will be probably, there was, how many teams was there? Around 70 I believe. And if there's 6 teams in each league, that would mean a few more divisions at the very least. Let's have a look at some of them. Now there's 5 of 6 in this one, 6 of 6 in this one, 5 of 6 in this one. Alright, so they haven't started yet. 4 of 6 in this one. Alright, so I thought they were a bit further along than I expected. Apparently, our league is the only one that has a full lineup. Anyway, I'll be back with this team, and also once the Open League starts, I will be creating teams and trying to play in those. And I will try to play as many games as possible. I might not record all of them because, well, it takes some time to play and some time to upload. But I will try to at least follow some of my attempts. I will probably be a little bit efficient, and if I lose more than, say, if I lose 2 games with a team in my first 20 games, or if I lose twice, I'll probably start a new team, because, well, you are going to need to win all 20 games to qualify. I can't imagine that 19 wins would be enough when you can just start over and play as much as you want. Well, 20 teams, 20 games at least. So there will be those that manage to get themselves to a 20-0 record. I'm absolutely certain. Anyway, let's hope for good luck for the Take-a-Licking Trousers, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon with actual Blood Bowl content.